Hey, everybody. I hope that you were on that 8 o'clock call with Christina leading about vision tonight, because if you weren't, you should definitely watch the recording. But she walked us through about basically how to cultivate a 5 year vision and just helped us to connect with our biggest dreams. And I don't think it's a coincidence that unknowingly tonight's call happens to be the perfect follow-up for that call that we just had about our vision and our dreams and where we want to go. So, if you were on both calls, great, because I think maybe the Lord's trying to tell you something. But tonight we're talking about the fear of the unknown, which is basically, he calls it the fear of the unknown, but I really think that fear of the unknown, fear of like uncertainty, or fear of just not knowing what's going to happen in the future, I really think it boils down to a lack of belief, which we happened to talk about at the end of that 8 o'clock hour. So, this chapter really is about when you don't truly know deep down in your heart of hearts whether or not you're going to succeed at this. And when you don't really believe that you can succeed at this, you don't consistently take the action. When you don't truly believe that your vision can become your actual reality, then you're not likely to continue to take the uncomfortable action that would be required. So, what would cause you to succeed here? What would cause your 5 year vision that we just talked about to actually come to fruition? Well, taking the right actions with skill for long enough. That's really all it boils down to. It's a set of skills that anybody can learn and get good at. And when you consistently take the right actions with skill, meaning take actions, but take the actions effectively, which requires skill, for long enough, eventually you reach your goals. And that is what would cause you to be successful here. So the opposite of that is also true. What would keep you from being successful here? What would keep that 5 year vision that you have in your mind? What would prevent that from becoming your reality? Well, not taking action or not learning the skills so that when you take the action, you are taking the action effectively and getting results. Okay. So it's just as simple as that. Anybody can achieve their 5 year vision if they're willing to take the action and learn the skills. But again, the opposite is also true. The people who don't reach their goals and don't achieve their dreams, it's for very simple reasons. They didn't take the action or they didn't learn the skills. Yet we let how we feel dictate what actions we take, even though we know logically that it is a simple business and there's just simple income producing activities that you have to do plus some skills you need to learn. We still let our feelings dictate the actions that we take. So fear of the unknown, he says, is fear of anything that is outside of our comfort zone, because our nature is to stay comfortable versus take risks. It's way easier and more comfortable to stay in our comfort zone than it is to put ourselves out there, risk rejection, risk not doing it right, risk embarrassing ourselves, risk whatever, risk failure. It's much easier to stay inside of our comfort zone than it is to take risks. So how this shows up if you have a victim mindset, he says, is having a yeah but attitude when someone else is successful. So he says that if you have a fear of the unknown, which aka is lack of belief that your vision can become your reality, If you have that fear or lack of belief and you see other people being successful, if a victim mindset, it shows up as, yeah, they are being successful, but it's because they found the right person. Or it's because they live in a better area than they do, or it's because they have a better husband than I do, or they have more supportive friends or family, or they have friends that are not broke, or they have this or that, or whatever, anything they could possibly have that I feel like I don't, I will make myself a victim of it, and I'll have a yeah, but attitude. And I've been guilty of that myself, especially in the beginning of my business, because I didn't realize that my business was completely and totally up to me. I was thinking that it was just luck of the draw, and I didn't understand that the results I wanted were that it was something that I could intentionally create. So he says if you have a victim mindset with this fear of the unknown, then you will believe that success is luck of the draw, instead of believing that it is something that you can intentionally create. So, here's my first point of discussion tonight. If you are a gold or a senior gold ambassador, I would love for you to unmute and share with me, was your success luck or did you create it? And if you created it, how did you do it? If you're a gold or a senior gold, was your success luck or did you create it?
Definitely created it.
How did you do it?
A lot of consistent action and just being in the business more than I wasn't. Right. I built to senior gold when I was in college, and that genuinely meant messaging people. If you go back and look at my messages, like 2 and 3 a.m., because I wasn't going to bed until I got it done. And, that has looked different in different seasons, but it's always just at the very least, get a post up, reach out to somebody new, follow up with somebody, and touch a customer, right? Like just having that bare minimum on your busiest day. What can you get done to keep the momentum of what you're doing rolling forward?
Love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Nicole. Any other goals or senior goals want to testify about your success? And was it luck or did you intentionally create it?
I will. Mine definitely was not luck. It was like she said, consistent action. And I got vulnerable. I got really real. And one of the things that stuck out to me was Christina said, make it relatable, make it emotional. And if it's something that's emotional and relatable, other people will relate to it. It's just like a good story. Everybody gets pulled into a good story, but consistent action every single day, or whatever that schedule looks like for you getting started. But I hit that oh snap moment, and I let fear run and rule my mind to the point to where I stopped doing things in certain different phases. And I'm approaching a year, and I related to that first call of shame, because I'm like, if I would not have stopped, if I would have just kept my foot on the gas, then who knows? I might be knocking on Ruby or Senior Ruby's door well before now, but it's because of me. If I don't get what I want, it's because of something I'm not doing or something that I did not commit to.
That's so good, Sheena. Well, I definitely relate to the shame too. Shame has that comment, I wrote it down. What she said about shame, because I mean, I can't count how many times shame has kept me playing small or kept me from taking action at all. And sometimes it's something I still battle against. I think that's something that I probably always will. I think that's just the human condition. So, yeah, definitely relatable. But I love how you said that you got to gold by taking consistent action. And I think that's so true. All right, how about any rubies or senior rubies on here? Your success, was it luck or did you intentionally create it?
Intentionally. just like, getting to gold and senior gold. But while Sheena and Nicole were talking, it hit me, I hit Ruby quick. I had a team, everybody was going, and then they all quit. And then I blamed them for, my team is because they quit instead of me continuing doing what I was doing to get to Ruby. And so even now being, struggling to keep my pay points at Ruby points, is still the same thing. It's, it's nobody else, and I'm going back and going back and learning what I learned in the beginning to do it right, to start over. Like Christina said, day one, today is day one, just start from wherever you are.
So good. All right. So let's just say that you are Ruby. Maybe you have, I have no idea how many points you have, but let's just say you had 400 or 450 points. There's a lot of people on this call that would love to have 400 or 450 points. So those points that you have in your back office, Amy, was that luck of the draw, or did you intentionally create it?
Oh, those were, I mean, even the last several months, and Genevieve said that at convention, is don't say you're just Ruby. Don't say you're just gold. You are gold. You made it. You did that. And that's the same thing with a lot of several months of mine was I was maintaining. It was me. My points, my Ruby points was me, because no one else. And even now, I've had one or two joins in your team members. So listening to Bob, I am grateful for where I'm at. I'm grateful for this journey. I'm actually grateful for the last year of not hitting the rank that I wanted to hit. I'm grateful for consider it all joy. I'm grateful for all of it.
Yeah. So what did you do to create that success that you have so far, which you've barely scratched the surface of what you're going to accomplish. I agree with you. You definitely have big goals and dreams, but the success you have accomplished so far, it is success that most people on this call would aspire to have. What did you do to achieve that success? Was it luck, or did you create it?
It was created. It was daily, multiple times a day, even during work when I shouldn't been. I was reaching out to people, and, just messaging them, reaching back out, not, and I, beat myself up for not writing somebody's name down, but then I go back and look through and go, look at all the people that I just remembered that I talked to. If I would do things in a different way, then it would be easier, but it's still, what I'm doing is working. It may be a struggle, but it's working. And so, yeah, it's all consistency. And I can tell when I don't reach out, I pay for it a few days later, because I'm like, why did I let this week go by? Or why did I let this month go by? Or why did I, you shoot yourself in the foot when you do that.
I love it. All right. So it definitely was not luck for you. You intentionally created it. All right. Any other Rubies or senior Rubies on here want to share about if your success was luck or if you intentionally made it happen?
I will, because I tried the luck route. So, I mean, what I have right now is definitely intentional, but I did be trying to go with luck.
What did it look like when you tried the luck route? How did that work out?
I was at silver for a very long time.
Interesting. Okay.
Took homegirl a while to hit gold, and that was before there was senior silver. So I was just silver, not just I was silver for a long time. And then when I was intentional, things happened.
All right. So when when you made things happen intentionally, what did you do? What were you doing to create your success that you now have?
I was working full-time still as a teacher, so I was working while I pumped in my closet because I was also breastfeeding. Christina and April got a lot of voice clips from me because it came with the background. But I was working, and at night when I was up feeding Luke. I was working sometimes in the floor of my closet because I could hide from my family. So just being very intentional about like IPA, retention, and posting, like the things that count.
Love it. So good. All right. Anybody? Any other rubies or senior rubies?
I'll go.
Okay.
So I will say my first time, honestly, I hit, I guess it was senior silver at the time. It was by luck because I had no idea what it meant to have these people join my team. Like I was like oblivious to it, honestly. And then after I met you and you talked to me about it, I was like, oh, this is something different. So when I built to Ruby, it was intentional. And I had great people on the team. I mean, like Rachel, I was working full time. It was the nooks and the crannies of my day. It was before I went to work, after I went to work, here at night, whatever. But it definitely took a lot of intention because I got a lot of no's to begin with. And then it just kind of took off and it was like wildfire after that. And now looking back, I was like, that was kind of easy. Now looking forward, I'm like, why did I think that? But definitely a lot of hard work and definitely a lot of intention to build and
Yeah.
now rebuild.
Yep, for sure. Does not happen by accident. All right, Jules, let me hear from you. If you are a Jewel on this call, was your success luck or did you create it intentionally?
I hadn't had luck none of these times I've been building. Not a single none time. Did I build it? Yes. And how it was found in my calendar. Every single time I can look at momentum created on my team, it's because my calendar is full. And I don't mean full of time away from my family. I mean full of conversations where I'm inviting people to take a look at what I have to offer. And that looks like a quick FaceTime on my phone, looks like a quick Zoom meeting, doesn't look like much of anything formal, although there are breakfast events in there. I'm doing a sip and see this Friday, just did a team event a couple weeks ago. So there have been seasons where my calendar, success is found in your daily agenda, period, end of discussion. So when I've been the most successful, if I go back and look at my time block, it's because it's full of things that are me engaging in the process of inviting someone to take a look at what I've got, products, business, or taprooting the same with my team. So it's always built and it's always because of my daily agenda.
Love it.
Oh, I'll go.
Okay.
Well, if you'd asked me 4 years ago, I would have said, oh, it was luck. Because I went emerald in like 4 seconds. And so I didn't have a clue what the heck happened. And it was so fun. It was so crazy. And I just thought this could not. I mean, I wasn't doing anything special or whatever. And so I did think it was luck. And then God said, well, let's prove to her that it wasn't. So let's see if she can do it again. And so he takes some of my points away. And then I go do it again. And so I learned that it was not luck. It was definitely, and what's so crazy is I still thought it was luck. And I work hard, y'all. I remember when I was going for Emerald, like in those few months, like I was working around the clock. It didn't feel like work to me. I was just doing this the whole time. Y'all seen those little gifts things where they're just anyways, that's how I was working. And so it's crazy that I still think, or I did think that it was luck because I obviously was working hard. I just didn't think I was doing anything special to create what we created. So anyway, definitely hard work. I know that now.
So because you were having fun, you felt like
Yes.
you weren't working, even though
Yes.
you were working around the
Yeah.
clock.
I mean, I didn't, my first, I don't know, 6 months or 7 months or 8 months, maybe. It just, boop, 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 boop.
Mhm.
And so I didn't know. I just thought, oh, this is fun. This is normal. This is great. Every time I look up, my points are going up. Yeah, that was fun. And then I said, now, since we showed her she can do this, let's give her some challenges so we can make her better.
Yes. So even then, Terry, in case y'all are new here and don't know, Terry went emerald in 90 days from when she started working. It's kind of unheard of.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Unless you're on my team, do it. I got you. Oh,
So she went Emerald in 90 days, and she's saying that she felt like it was luck. But I mean, even then, Terry, I was looking at you. I knew it was not luck. I
well, I
knew
mean, you think
it
about,
was from you pouring into relationships for decades of your life.
yes,
And then you just found an opportunity that rewarded you for just being who you are.
yeah.
It was not in any way luck.
But it took me a while for me to see that. Like y'all had to tell me that so many times. I'm like, I don't do anything nobody else don't do, but I did. I did.
Yes.
But yeah.
So definitely was not luck. So you intentionally created your success. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. All right. So all of you people who spoke up tonight, or even if you didn't, I'm curious, what would you say to somebody who is struggling with a victim mindset and they have this fear of what if I don't make it? And we're like, we know logically that it's very simple. If you take the action with skill for long enough, you'll reach your goals. We can't put an exact timeline on it, but that's a simple fact. But we still have this fear of the unknown. And if you have this fear of the unknown and you have a victim mindset, then you are probably going to wonder, if is it just luck of the draw, or can I intentionally create it? So what advice would you guys give to people who were on that other call? They had just got all emotional thinking about the things they want so badly over the next 5 years, but they're wondering, can I actually create that, or is it just going to be luck? What advice would you guys give them?
I would say that the time is going to pass either way. So if you do what we're telling you to do, put in the effort and the energy to get better and become effective and practice and fail forward, the likelihood of you arriving is 1,000% higher than if you just sit over there and wish and should all over yourself for the next 5 years. The time's going to pass either way. So give yourself the best chance possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think a lot of times we like give ourselves an in because life is hard. And I was just writing down some of the things I've had to build through: deployments, miscarriages, pregnancies, Cat 5 hurricane, back-to-back moves. And so sometimes I think we're a victim to our own circumstances. Like if my husband was just home more, or if I had that full-time childcare, or if I didn't work full-time around the clock, or whatever it is, we become a victim to our own circumstances, when if we would just take that ownership and be intentional, like Terry was saying, then our lives could look very different. But it is going to look like growth and work and sacrifice, and treating this like a job, and putting on your blinders and being okay with this being a hard season while you're building. I think a lot of times we think this is supposed to be easy, and that's not always the case. So that would be my thoughts.
So good, April. Yep.
I
Totally.
piggyback on that and even say, like, be the team member you wish you had. Because I can definitely relate to April in different ways. Like, I feel like every time I get a cool down in my life, something else crazy happens. Like I said, I built through college, I moved across the country, I got engaged, I planned my own wedding, we bought a house. So there's always been a reason to not do it, or to totally slack off and pick it up later. But that just wasn't an option. Slowing down might be an option, changing the intensity might be an option, but quitting never was. So like being the team member you wish you had.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, there's never going to be like, I would say the people who have a lot going on, they're generally the ones who tend to be the most successful. The people who don't have anything going on, do I know anybody who's just like, yeah, I ain't got nothing going on, I got all kinds of time on my hands? I don't know if I have conversations with people like that. But anyway, I just know that the people who produce and they achieve, they always have a lot going on, and there's never a lack of, challenge or adversity that we're going to have to be overcoming at any given point. So, okay, moving along. This is a question directly from the book. He says, if you knew for sure that whatever level of success that you desire would come to you in 3 years, guaranteed, if you made 3 new contacts every day, how would you change your daily actions? Curious y'all's thoughts on that question.
I would
I talked
definitely
to
be.
Christina today.
Oh,
You're going,
sorry.
I was like,
Who
I
was
talked to
it?
Christina today and we talked about that whole thing. And I'm like, I get in my head and I cost myself because I'm too busy spending the time thinking about what if instead of just spending that time doing the thing. I've never had a problem with new reach outs. Never. I let myself get emotional about something a few months back. It has held my business back for months. I'm having to make myself do new reach outs, which is, I don't dislike that part of this business because of where I'm at emotionally with something. Why? That's crazy. And the fact that I know it's crazy and I'm still doing it is even more asinine. Like, just do the thing. She's like, how do you get past it? I'm like, I guess I just keep making myself do it before I go to bed. And regardless of how I feel about it, you just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's a discipline. Yep.
I mean, but it's, we get in our own way for no reason. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm worrying about, what I am allowing myself to be bitter over. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on my life or on my results, except for what I'm giving it. I'm giving it that power right now.
Mm-hmm.
By choosing to stop living in fear of what I don't know, I could just go get what I want.
Yep. Yes.
Well, how would it change my action? I would double it because I already have a pattern of consistency. And if you have a pattern of consistency and you want to speed up the timeline, you can add intensity.
Yep.
But we had this talk last week at Jewel School. You cannot add intensity until you've mastered consistency. But because of where I'm at in my consistency, I'd double it and I would do it in half the time.
You're going to 10x it. But y'all, I was just thinking through all of this, it's really choosing your heart. It's choosing your heart. How bad do I want this? How bad do I really want the other call we just had, the dream in 5 years? And if I'm wanting that, and I'm going to stop making excuses, I'm going to do the ding dong thing. We're going to do what it takes. And we have to be willing to be intentional about these things every single day. And so I'm going to be willing to get out of my comfort zone if I know that this is going to get that 5-year goal that we're dreaming and praying for. Heck to the yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. And so then we need to ask ourselves, if we're not doing that, and I'm saying this to myself, what is holding me back? What lie am I believing? What thing has been holding me up from doing those things then and making it happen? Because we just have to do it. We have to do it afraid. We have to be willing to step out of our comfort. And I know that I have a whole lot of things here that I want to see change. And instead of being stuck, this is where I've come out of being stuck in, am I ever going to get there? Are these things ever going to change? I'm going to sit and position myself in faith and do the things I'm called to do and do it with passion and belief. And that's it. That's just all I'm saying.
So good. I love your energy, Angela. And I totally agree. So in this question, I feel like this question is so revealing about this fear of the unknown. Like, to what extent do we have? I think all of us have a fear of the unknown, but it's just a matter of like, to what degree do we have it? So I think this question about if you knew guaranteed that in 3 years you would have your goals achieved if you were doing 3 new contacts every day. I mean, that if you knew it was guaranteed, you just would flat out do it. And so that's so revealing about our belief level, where it's at when we don't engage in that activity, because we know we've been told a million times that that's the needle mover. That's what's going to move our business forward. Yet we hold ourselves back from doing it. We don't do it. We lack consistency. We let fear hold us back, whatever. And it's very revealing about to what degree do we struggle with this fear. All right, but it's overcomable. And he talks about it in the book at the end of the chapter. So anyway, moving on. So we talked about victim mindset, how that plays out when you have this fear of the unknown. Survivor mindset. Basically, if you have a fear of the unknown, but you're in a survivor mindset, what it looks like is you showing up in your business to do every single thing except the most uncomfortable thing, which also happens to be the most income producing thing, which is new contacts or follow-ups, but probably new contacts. Okay. So for some of you, maybe it's not new contacts. For some of you, maybe you have no resistance at all around new contacts. Maybe you can recruit till the cows come home, but what you're afraid of is, or what makes you the most uncomfortable is getting on the phone with people or coaching people and trying to develop people and trying to help people reach their goals. Maybe that for you is what you're resisting. He says that when we stay in survivor mode like that, it's just flat out exhausting. It's exhausting. Like we show up in our business and we feel like we're working so hard, but because we're avoiding the thing that's making us uncomfortable, which also is going to be the most income producing thing most of the time for us, then that is like we spin our wheels and it leads to exhaustion. Why do you think it leads to exhaustion to be in survival mode like that? Why does that cause exhaustion?
Because if you pause to take a deep breath or rest, because you're only surviving, now we've gone down to drowning, dying.
Yeah,
And so
or
it's just constant panic that I'm gonna mess it all up. It's gonna all go away. It's all gonna go away. It's all gonna go away because we're not solid in what it actually takes to create true growth and momentum.
yes, exactly. Or you feel like you are on a treadmill. Maybe your points don't go backwards. Maybe they just stay the same for a very long time. It is because you are not doing the income producing activities, or you're not doing it with skill, or you're avoiding something that would move the needle forward for you. And it is exhausting because you feel like you are just on a hamster wheel, like you're working, 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 and what you want is growth, but at best you're maintaining, which maintaining, it is a lot of work to maintain. But none of us want to work our butts off to just maintain forever and ever and ever, right? We want to grow. And for some of us, it might not even be maintaining. It could be going backwards, even though we feel like we're working hard. That's what happens when you're in survival mode and you're avoiding the income producing activities. All right. He says that survivors, they do take ownership. Like they know that their results are up to them. So it's not like they're blaming people. Victims blame people. Victims think they have that yeah, but attitude of like other people could do it, but I can't because of my limiting circumstances. So they make themselves a victim. Survivors are not making themselves a victim. They are fully aware that it is because of them that they are not reaching their goals. Like they're fully aware that they have no one to blame but the man in the mirror, right? And so but here's what survivors do, or what they don't have. They don't have a lot of confidence in themselves. They don't actually trust themselves to change because they have broken promises to themselves so many times. How many times have we committed to that nutrition plan? We're starting on Monday. We're really doing it this time. And then we fall off the wagon. Like we break trust with ourselves, or we're going to be committed to our income producing activity starting this month, really doing it this time. And then we allow distractions because it feels uncomfortable. And so we do that enough times. What happens is you do lose confidence in yourself. You no longer trust yourself when you do get fired up and you want to get recommitted. There's that little voice in the back of your mind going, yeah, right. You've said that how many times before? What makes you think this time's going to be any different? That's what happens when you break trust with yourself. You begin to lack confidence. You don't trust yourself anymore. And the only way to fix that is to keep promises to yourself. Start being, well, he says on page 124. The only way a survivor can progress is by taking action steps every day while keeping their focus on what lies directly in front of them. So it's just a matter of keeping promises to yourself, and they don't have to be massive. Like if you are struggling to be consistent with your income producing activity, you could build your confidence in yourself by simply doing one new contact every single day for a month. If you were to just do that one small thing every day for a whole month, at the end of the month, you would begin to trust yourself again. Or the same thing when it comes to weight loss or your fitness goals. It doesn't have to be anything massive to create change. As a matter of fact, in the Slight Edge, he talks about how that the habits that create big change are so small that they're almost too scary to talk about. They're so small that it feels like if you do them or don't do them, it doesn't really matter. So it could be something like going for a walk for 15 to 20 minutes every single day. That feels like you're doing nothing. But if you were to do that every single day for a whole month, do you think it would do something? Yes, you would be a lot further than you would if you had not done anything all month in terms of your exercise, right? And then your confidence would be higher too. Like you start believing in yourself when you start keeping promises to yourself. Okay, on page 124, I want us to do this exercise together. He says, every time, if you're stuck in a survivor mindset, or really just anytime you have a problem, this is just a good habit to have if you want to develop a conqueror's mindset. He says, every time a problem or negative thought comes to your mind, write it down and then write down 3 solutions. You will find that when you do this, your problems really aren't as big as your mind makes them out to be. This one simple solution can literally change your life. So I want us to take a minute to do that right now. I want you to think about a problem, write it down, and then write down 3 solutions, 3 possible solutions. And I'm going to give us all 2 minutes. If you don't have anything to write with, you can pull up the notes app on your phone and type it out. But I'm going to give us all 2 minutes to write down 1 problem, 3 solutions. All right, ready, set, go. One more minute. All right, time's up. Who wants to share? What was your problem you wrote down and what are the 3 solutions you came up with?
I'll go.
Okay.
This may be in a little vulnerable.
Okay, we like vulnerable.
And I think this is right. I hope I follow directions right.
If it's not, I'll tell you.
I know. Problem. Possible problem. Maybe I didn't do it right. Okay. What if I'm in the same place a year from now?
Okay,
Problem.
that's a fear.
So it's not a problem?
I mean, it would be a problem if that does happen.
Well, this is what I'm going with. Okay. Solutions. Reach out to more people about the business. Create more silvers. Develop my top leaders and help them go emerald.
Yes, love it.
Okay.
Definitely would prevent you from being in the same place next year. Yep.
I also did it wrong. I thought you meant when you said a problem, it could just be like a problem in my life, not like with my business. So I did a problem in my life.
That's fine.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you or no?
Yeah, tell us. I think everybody wants to know your problems, Christina.
Well, it was a
Do
vacation.
you actually have problems?
It was a vacation problem. Yes. I'm all seriousness. It's a vacation problem for my 40th birthday. So
Okay.
vacation problem. Problem is trying to figure out, do we do more things, more days, bigger space? So the solutions is less days, more faves. So my kids could bring a friend, get it, more faves people, less days so that we could bless friends with more days. Could it be swap from hotel to an Airbnb? That's a solution because then we can bring the faves. And then that was all. I only needed 2 and then I realized I solved it.
Okay, good. I'm so glad we can help you tonight.
Sorry. Oh, you just smell like any problem.
I wrote down a problem, not a fear.
Okay.
Show off.
I'm just saying I have a problem. You had a problem. Yours is vacation. Mine's business. So my problem is I can't be consistent with IPA. So my first solution, I kind of wrote down 4 steps, but 2 of them go together.
Sarah
would
Marie,
be-
I'm so sorry, but my computer glitched. Will you say your problem again? Because I think I missed it.
Oh, I have to admit it again.
I'm so sorry.
Well, the worst part was she's telling her problem and your computer was frozen, Brittany, in a wide grin. So she's like bearing her soul and you're like,
God, you're gonna make me cry and puke at the same time.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Gosh, I hate speaking up. Okay, so I can't be my problem is I can't be consistent with IPA.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
I heard it.
Okay.
You want me to go like, like
No, I just didn't want to say it again. I was gonna type it. Then the 4 solutions to go together is that I do have pockets in my day to work on IPA. So that means time blocking. And then when I'm time blocking though, because I've done this and still not have done it, but when I'm time blocking, I need to also remind myself that others who work full time can be consistent, and clearly they're time blocking and still doing the work. And then the other solution would be accountability and sending in my sheet to my leader, because I've tried sending it to like holding accountability with my team and that just doesn't seem to work. But I know next month in August, you are doing it where we have to send it to you in order to be on a leadership call. So that will be like an accountability piece in order to make on it or to be on those calls.
Okay, love it. Thank you for being brave and courageous, Sarah Marie, and speaking up and sharing. All right. Well, sounds like you brainstormed some possible solutions. So I wrote down that I feel like I don't have a lot of warm market eyeballs on my content. Have a lot of eyeballs on my content, but it's like 99.9% Plexus people, and probably because of my podcast. But so that would be like a marketing issue for me. So my solutions are I need to make more friends online. I need to spend intentional time every week making new friends online, and also set coffee dates with people to just make friends. Like I really just need to make friends. And that, or I can invite people over to my house. So those are some things that I actually have already been doing. All right. So last thing, thank y'all for sharing that. And I think that's a great habit to have when you encounter a problem. Just brainstorm 3 possible solutions, because that will keep the problem from being pervasive, as in like feeling like that problem is seeping into other areas of your business or of your life that it's not, that it really doesn't have anything to do with, but it can feel like it is pervading other areas because it feels bigger than it actually is. And there's always solutions. It's always figure outable, but sometimes we have to get ourselves in a brainstorming box to come up with solutions and like get out of our emotions about the problem. So I think that's a good habit to have. To close this out tonight, at the end of the chapter, he talked about how the conqueror mindset, how they're gonna overcome. And he talked about practical ways to do that. But he shared the story of how he was on a mission trip in a foreign country and he was freezing cold and barefoot uphill in the snow both ways, all that stuff. And he was just like really, really depressed and miserable. And he was there to help people. He was on fire to help people, but it was like nobody wanted his help. And so he shares the story of how he shifted his attitude. He literally said, as my attitude shifted, slowly the people in the area shifted and were willing to accept help. So I don't know if you've ever felt like that before. Like, I'm on fire, I got these products, gonna help all these people. And then like you try to share with folks and it's like, they don't want your help. They don't want your pink drink. They don't want your help. I'm sure you felt like that before. If you've ever tried to share Plexus with anybody, you've probably felt that way at some point. All right. So my question is, what shifted in his attitude that eventually caused a shift in the people that he was trying to serve to where they eventually were willing to accept his help? What shifted in his attitude?
Okay, so I feel like maybe it's almost a trick question, but
It's not.
it says right there, like he found great joy in serving others. So like there was a shift in his mindset on serving others.
Yeah. He became others focused. Absolutely. And he went there with the intent to serve others. But who was he actually focused on initially? He was kind of focused on himself. Like he wanted to serve others and help people, but it was kind of like self glorification. And then he shifted his attitude. He became more humble. He let go of the expectation that it was supposed to feel easy. Like he thought because he was going to help people that it was just going to be all these good feelings like joy and just going to feel so rewarding and fulfilled, because everybody knows that helping, like giving's better than receiving, right? It does make us feel rewarded when we are serving people and being selfless, but he had to shift his attitude in expecting that all to come immediately. Like he was expecting it to come easy, and it wasn't easy. It was actually incredibly hard to serve those people. But once he was willing to embrace that and really truly did have a heart to humbly and selflessly serve people, that's when the people started being more receptive and willing to accept the help. So I think that is a good note to close on tonight. That, and also, if you thought about your 5-year vision tonight on Christina's call, and you've been on this call tonight, and you're hearing about like, what's it actually going to take? What's it actually going to take? Is my vision possible? Yes, it is. What's it going to take? Am I willing? What are the problems I'm currently encountering? And what are some possible solutions? What needs to shift in my attitude about how I'm showing up, how I'm serving other people? And do I need to let go of some unrealistic expectations of it should feel easier than it does? All of those things, I hope that you guys will ponder on tonight and take to heart and digest it, apply it, and allow it to change your life and also the lives of the people around you. All right. Good night, y'all. Thank you for being on. Next week's our last week. And then after that, we're going to have the author of the book, Rob Sperry, come and speak to us. So I'm very excited about that and maybe a little nervous. Okay, bye.